Hey, this is Mark Smith, the host of Digital Roughnecks, where we focus on the energy AI and the impact it's on the oil and gas industry. And with me today is Sarah Tamilarasan from SOTAOG. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. How are you doing, Mike?
Good. So Sarah's company, which she's one of the co-founders, uses AI and machine models to do some amazing things. So I really wanted to bring her on. I'm super excited about introducing SOTAOG to the oil and gas world and our audience. What was the idea behind starting this?
So what our company does is we analyze a lot of data for our clients and give them predictive recommendations. So why did we think this was a good idea? I mean, 2006, I graduated from engineering. I get a job with an E&P operator. It was exciting. I get to be part of a lot of big projects. And firsthand, I actually get to experience spending millions of dollars in just grabbing real-time data from machines, right? Exciting stuff. Electrical engineer with computer science engineering as well. It's fun. And I'm like, we should do something with this, right? Like, what do we do next? Now that got difficult. So this is when we would have a lot of consultants engage and build a lot of patchwork for, some visualizations, analytics. But primarily, we had a lot of this real-time, great, high-quality data from machines that was just used for safety. Like, it was used for dispatch. Like, is a tank going to overflow? Is there a leak on a pipe? But it was very reactive for what most of it was used. And when it came to analysis, it was a struggle because that same data was used by many different departments, or could be used. Mm-hmm. It was just hard to process. I saw it transferred from spreadsheets, and this was a company that made 500,000 barrels of oil a day. Yeah. And the pieces that I was part of is maybe just 100,000 barrels a day. So, so you could just, I saw a lot of opportunity where the company themselves could make better use of the labor and the staff that they had on hand. Anyways, after that, I actually get a job at a smaller E&P. They make 10,000 barrels a day, right? And all my coworkers think I'm nuts. They're like, why would you do this? Like, you're supposed to go up, you're going down. And I'm like, no, I really want to learn more about this, right? Sure enough, I show up and I never knew it's 2010 and I had never seen a tank being hand gauged. And understand this facility was making 5,000 barrels a day and they're hand gauging a tank. And I was like, oh, what is that? What are you doing? And she was like, well, ma'am, we do this by hand. I was like, they make tank levels. Last time I checked, it's 2010. And he was like, yeah, but they don't work. And now it's coming back to me. I was like, okay, so my previous company, this was hard. We spent millions of dollars. We got it done. And here's a company that was valued at that time at $2 billion in the marketplace. They sort of have the money, but they're not going to just throw the money at it to get it to work. They're not that rich. So long story short, I was able to deploy an entirely wireless system for hundreds of thousands of dollars, very cheap. The ROI on that was going to be much, much higher. But reality was, with the C-suite, I explained how you don't have to make more oil. You just have to sell what you have, and you're going to easily make an additional 7% more. And we did a test, and sure enough, there was a discrepancy of a minimum of 3%. It could be as high as 7%. And the ROI over the next 3 years, when we brought in all of the real-time data, was over 70-fold. So that, when I sat back and looked at it, I was like, okay, so the IoT stack is evolving. This is going to get easier and easier and cheaper, because even when this company went through that, we spent about $1 million to get the framework and everything going. So that was the heartbeat behind SOTAOG. We knew there were 5,000 small independents in the United States. And we said, hey, what if we make this inexpensive, affordable, and offer them a ton of insights and optimize their operations for highest cash flow?
So that's great. So because you're right, everybody now has connected all their equipment to IoT devices, all that's feeding up through the PLC. It's getting shoved into their SCADA system, tons and tons of data, but you actually try to turn that data into money. So show me some examples of how you do that.
Be happy to do that. So these are top things that we do on oil and gas wells and pipelines, etc. So let's look at a very small example, right? So here's an SWD site, saltwater disposal site, and the cost and the money exchanged on a barrel of saltwater disposal is anywhere from $1, could be up to $3 a barrel. So every day water's coming in, every day they're pumping it down the SWD well, right? These are simple things. But now you have bounds and you have constraints. So you've got all this real-time data. We model so in this case, it's simple. Your bounds are, hey, how much tank space do we have? Constraints are, how much can you pump down? How much can you actually put away in that well? Because you're only permitted to put in like 20,000, right? Or 30,000, whatever it is. Now you're using power. There's a cost to dispose it. You've got to pay government and you've got to pay the landowners. All of those costs are, and it's all based on your real-time stuff. So we went in, we got all of the real-time data, analyzed it at a click of a button. We have engineering principles built in, right? And we're saying, okay, what could we do to maximize their revenue? Easily we find out with our recommendations, they could actually hold more water in the tanks. They could turn their pumps on and off at specific time. This would average no more than, at least a minimum of $400 a day. And over 50 sites, that would be close to $7 million a year. And this is just one small example using, just maximizing it on the power. And you could imagine when you do leak detection, when you analyze and you add so much more other variables, which we have done for gas networks, etc. The numbers can get pretty big. It adds up very fast.
So you by using their existing data, but running it through your AI machine models, which are tuned for their site and learn really quickly, you can, obviously you're optimizing the saltwater, the disposal of water, but also checking for pipeline leaks or pipeline optimization. You mentioned some other ones that we've talked offline before, like blending optimization for midstream, on and on and on, with using their existing data, but optimizing it. Any other examples there?
No, that covers most of it. And then we do well optimizations as well. And, in addition to that, we give them health checks on all of their assets. Tell them, hey, which of your meters might be out of bounds? Which of your meters need to be checked and calibrated? But because your meters are always tied to your revenue. And as long as we can give them a very holistic picture of how much money they make every day and how they can reduce their ops cost every day, that's what we're about. And doing it without compromising safety and compliance.
So this would get someone a huge step forward in, autonomous operations. So if somebody wants to have a, discovery call with you, okay, and learn more if this is going to work for them, what should they do?
They can send us a note from our website. They can email me directly. I'm at Sarah, SARAH, at SOTAOG.com, and we would love to have a chat with them.
What would you say, have you been able to, get a return on the kind of stuff that you do so far? So
it's a minimum of 10 times the return. We have had clients get as much as 70x and more, but we are always targeting a minimum of 10 times, 10x.
So this is another great example of using, machine modeling and AI to really achieve autonomous operations, and in this case, turn data into money. So Sarah, I want to thank you so much for being part of Digital Roughnecks.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Mike.